No, Ellie. You ain't done taters in so long you forgot how. Let me show you how it's done. You gotta put some swing in it, like this. In the ground. Shake the dirt, fling it. That's what you call vegan taters.
Remember when a shotgun blast at a critter turned into an oil gusher and a #1 sitcom? Yeah, that was the Beverly Hillbillies. The year was 1962, and CBS gambled on a show about backwoods bumpkins who struck oil and swapped their shack for a Beverly Hills mansion. The premise was simple. Drop a family that calls a swimming pool a cement pond into a world of country clubs and cocktail parties, then watch the culture clash unfold. Buddy Ebsen played Jed Clampett, the accidental millionaire, with more common sense than anyone in his new zip code. Irene Ryan was Granny, the shotgun-toting matriarch who treated city folk like spoiled milk. Donna Douglas brought Elly May to life, equal parts beauty queen and critter wrangler. Max Baer Jr. was Jethro Bodine, whose 6th grade education and endless career schemes became running jokes. Raymond Bailey played banker Milburn Drysdale, forever scheming to keep the Clampetts' millions in his vault. And Nancy Kulp, she was Miss Jane Hathaway, Drysdale's sharp, loyal secretary and the level-headed voice of reason in a mansion full of chaos. For 9 seasons and 274 episodes, the Beverly Hillbillies was one of the most consistently watched shows of the 1960s. Today, we're counting down 15 weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies you probably didn't know. However, before we load up the truck, hit that like button, subscribe, and hype the video. It helps YouTube show it to more viewers just like you. Oh, and stick around for number 1. It involves one of the most brutal cancellations in television history. Now, let's get into the countdown with number 15. Jethro couldn't spell MBA, but Max Baer Jr. didn't need one. Jethro Bodine bragged about his 6th grade education like it was a doctorate from Harvard. But Max Baer Jr., he actually had a business degree from Santa Clara University with a philosophy minor for good measure. After the Beverly Hillbillies ended, Hollywood typecast Baer so completely that casting directors couldn't see past the goofy grin. He auditioned for serious roles and watched directors' faces fall the moment he walked in. "Can you do the voice?" they'd ask. Never mind the business degree or that he was sharp enough to direct and produce, he was Jethro forever. So, Baer stopped waiting for permission and went independent. In 1974, he wrote, produced, and starred in Macon County Line, a gritty Southern revenge film made for around $220,000.
Yeah, hemp is kind of slow sometimes. Say, y'all wouldn't mind showing me some identification now, would you?
It grossed over $30 million. Talk about a return on investment. He followed that up by producing Ode to Billy Joe in 1976, which was another hit. Add competitive golf trophies, real estate investments, and that infamous attempt in the late 1990s at a Beverly Hillbillies casino in Reno, complete with a 200-foot oil derrick and a restaurant called Jethro's All You Can Eat, and you've got a man who understood business better than most studio executives. The casino never happened. Zoning issues, funding problems, and probably some CBS lawyers getting involved, but the ambition showed how tightly Jethro clung to Baer's identity even when Baer was trying to escape. The frustration with typecasting simmered for decades until 2014 when he sued CBS over character rights and merchandising, arguing they'd blocked him from capitalizing on the role that made him famous and unemployable.
Hi, Granny. I got that big ticket.
I hope it ain't as tough as its egg.
That is a flamingo.
Sometimes the dumbest character on TV is played by the smartest guy in the room, and sometimes that guy makes more money than the studio that wouldn't hire him. Number 14, Granny and Jed were practically the same age. Irene Ryan made Granny Clampett look ancient, almost like she'd been plucked from a dusty Ozark porch circa 1890, complete with bun, scowl, and enough sass to power a militia. She was only 5 years older than Buddy Ebsen, 59 to his 54 when the show started.
Hold on now, Granny. You ain't gonna stomp out no fire like that, are you?
Huh? Oh, of course not. Don't want to burn my shoes.
Granny and Jed could have been schoolmates, but Ryan committed to hunching like a question mark, and the makeup team spent hours every day adding wrinkles and age spots. Ebsen, who'd already danced alongside Shirley Temple and survived being poisoned by Tin Man makeup in The Wizard of Oz, played Jed as the tall, wise patriarch. Meanwhile, Ryan hobbled around the set like she needed a walker, barked orders, and carried the authority of someone who'd outlived 3 wars and most of her enemies. Off-screen, Ryan was still performing vaudeville routines with more energy than most 20-year-olds. During breaks, she'd straighten up, crack her back, and immediately look decades younger.
Oh, you bad boy. Where have you been?
Is that the dog?
Oh, yes, and look at him. He's so happy, and I'm so grateful. How can I ever reward you, Mr. Stanton?
Oh, please, no money. However, if you'd consent to have lunch with me, I'd be glad.
Lunch? Why, of course I will. That's the least I can do.
Sometimes the best acting challenge is convincing millions you're decades older than you are while your actual peer gets to stand up straight. Ryan earned her Emmy nomination the hard way, one hunched posture at a time. Number 13, Granny's Cookbook was real and insane. A lot of sitcom cookbooks are novelty cash-ins slapped together by ghostwriters who've never watched the show, but Irene Ryan went all in. In 1996, she released Granny's Hillbilly Cookbook, written entirely in character with co-author Kathy Pinkney. Some dishes had tongue-in-cheek names like Beelzebub Birds for a special chicken dish, and baby oil liver munchings for an appetizer with eggs and bacon.
Then what I call my heavenly hash. That's grits and chitlins, possum belly, hog jowl, and catfish. All minced together and simmered in gopher gravy. Folks talking.
But buried between jokes were legit Southern staples. Cornbread, beans, greens, pickling tips, and what Granny called beaverages because spelling wasn't her strong suit. For the brave, there were actual small game recipes. Possum stew, roast squirrel, groundhog. The cookbook sold surprisingly well. Half the buyers wanted genuine recipes from their grandma's era. The other half wanted to see if Granny was serious about possum pie. She was. Dead serious.
Tell me about Beverly Hillbillies now. Oh, no, I don't want to hear about Beverly Hillbillies today. It's a great show. Wednesday nights, 8:30 to 9. That's fine. We know that. But what about the cookbook? I want to know about the cookbook.
It's going very well, Alan.
Granny's Cookbook.
And I can't tell you, the last time I was on your show,
Yes?
I cannot tell you how many fan letters I got asking where to get it.
Yes? Well, where do you get it?
Naturally, in a bookstore. You don't go to a hardware store.
Granny didn't just cook up trouble on screen. She served it with gravy, folksy one-liners, and recipes that could double as survival guides, all in hardcover form. First edition hardcovers now sell for serious money on the rare book market. Turns out possum recipes actually appreciate. Julia Child taught America to cook French foods. Granny taught them to cook roadkill.
Tonight we is having leftovers.
That's the thing about possum innards. Is just as good the second day.
Number 12, why did Jethro call him Uncle Jed if they were cousins? If Jethro was Pearl Bodine's son and Pearl was Jed's cousin, then technically Jethro wasn't Jed's nephew. He was his first cousin once removed. So why all the Uncle Jed talk?
Uncle Jed, I got me a girl.
You sure have, boy, and a city girl, too.
Well, in rural Ozark families, younger relatives called older cousins aunt or uncle out of respect, not biology. It was about manners, not DNA. The same reason Elly May called Pearl Aunt Pearl even though the family tree didn't require it.
Aunt Pearl, would you do me a big favor?
Well, of course, Elly May. What is it?
Would you take this here fur coat?
The Clampetts weren't genealogists. They were hillbillies with good manners and a loose understanding of where everyone fit on the family chart. Besides, Uncle Jed sounds a lot more dignified than, hey, first cousin once removed Jed. And let's be honest, Jethro struggled with math that didn't involve food portions. Think he was mapping out bloodlines? Uncle Jed stuck because it sounded right, showed respect, and didn't require a flowchart. Perfect for a family that never met a rule they couldn't misunderstand. Number 11, Mr. Drysdale forgot his lines. Raymond Bailey spent 9 seasons as Milburn Drysdale, scheming, panicking, and obsessively protecting the Clampetts' millions like a dragon guarding gold.
Well, are we all set to give the Clampetts a red carpet reception?
Well, I'm afraid Mrs. Drysdale still isn't too happy, sir.
Yes, I know.
Off-screen, Bailey was the opposite. He was calm and professional, the kind of actor who hit his marks and nailed his lines for decades across Broadway, film, and radio. Then, during the show's later seasons, something started slipping. Bailey began showing early signs of memory issues. Missed cues here, forgotten lines there. The cast and crew noticed, but they worked around it, hoping it was just exhaustion from 9 years of panic-stricken comedy. Bailey had been a pro since the 1930s, and everyone wanted him to finish strong.
We want you to know how happy we are to have you, your handsome nephew, your lovely daughter, and your beautiful mother.
He made it through all 274 episodes, but by the end, the struggle was real. After the Beverly Hillbillies wrapped in 1971, Bailey managed only 2 more films, both mid-70s Disney comedies, Herbie Rides Again and The Strongest Man in the World, before retiring as Alzheimer's disease progressed. The once gregarious actor withdrew from public life almost completely.
I'm sure we're thinking of 2 different Oxfords. You see, there's one that's very, very famous and very old.
The only cast member he stayed in touch with was Nancy Kulp, his loyal on-screen assistant, Miss Jane Hathaway.
I'm Jane Hathaway, Executive Secretary to Mr. Drysdale. And you, I take it, are a domestic of some sort?
Even as the world got smaller and harder to navigate, that friendship held. She'd visit, they'd reminisce about the show, and Kulp became one of the few constants in his later years. Bailey died of a heart attack in 1980 at the age of 75, nearly a decade after Drysdale's last scheme. But in syndication, Drysdale's memory is perfect. Every scheme, every panic attack, every desperate attempt to keep the Clampetts happy. Raymond Bailey faded, but Milburn Drysdale never forgot a thing. Number 10, B. Benaderet almost played Granny. Before Irene Ryan got the role, creator Paul Henning seriously considered B. Benaderet for Granny. The problem was Henning thought Benaderet's figure was too full for the part. Granny needed to look wiry and ancient, like she'd survived on vinegar and spite for 8 decades. Benaderet, with her curves and natural warmth, didn't fit that scrappy, bird-like visual. Benaderet saw it too and didn't argue. She knew Ryan was the better fit.
Got the prisoner all tied up, Granny. Can I go back and get the other one now?
No, you can't. You keep your mind on your feuding. Close the gates.
So Henning gave Benaderet cousin Pearl Bodine instead, Jed's meddling relative who showed up, stirred chaos, then vanished back to the hills after 11 episodes. Benaderet played Burl with twangy sass, but she wasn't sticking around for long. Henning had bigger plans. He spun Benaderet off into Petticoat Junction, where she became the lead of a show that ran 7 seasons and 222 episodes.
Someday, that train's gonna sneak in, drain out all the water before you can get out, and leave you high, dry, and bare.
Ryan became an Emmy-nominated icon. Benaderet got her own empire. Turns out getting passed over for Granny was the best thing that ever happened to her. Number 9, Elly May's critters were Hollywood royalty. Every critter Elly May dragged into the mansion, whether it was a raccoon, possum, skunk, a monkey, looked like random wildlife she'd sweet-talked off the studio lot, but every single one was a trained professional. They were supplied by Frank Inn, one of the most legendary animal handlers in TV and film history. Inn's client list reads like Hollywood royalty. Benji, Arnold the Pig from Green Acres, the cat from Breakfast at Tiffany's, Higgins from Petticoat Junction. He ran a talent agency for animals, and his roster had better credits than most human actors. Inn worked on all 3 of Paul Henning's rural sitcoms, Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, and Green Acres, making him the hidden MVP of that entire TV dynasty. Without him, there's no Elly May cooing over raccoons and no Arnold outsmarting Mr. Douglas. Next time you see Elly May with her little critter, remember that wasn't a random woodland stowaway she found behind the mansion. That was a trained professional with an agent.
Rusty, now that you and Skippy's such good friends, I bet you'd like it fine if you could swim too. There ain't no reason that cats can't swim just as good as dogs.
A contract rider, and probably better craft services than the human cast. Number 8, Buddy Ebsen almost retired before playing Jed. By the early 1960s, Buddy Ebsen was finished. He danced with Shirley Temple in Captain January, survived the Tin Man makeup that nearly killed him, and spent decades bouncing between vaudeville, Broadway, and enough Hollywood musicals to fill a theme park.
All the best folks are parading on a Sunday afternoon. We'll rent a horse and carriage, and I'll be proud of you.
He was ready to trade his tap shoes for a quiet ranch life. Then his agent handed him a script for the Beverly Hillbillies. Ebsen later said, "I started reading and laughing, and by the time I finished laughing, I had signed a contract." The humor hooked him, but so did the potential. Ebsen had been through some lean Hollywood years, doing low-budget westerns and bit parts. The idea of steady work on a network comedy didn't sound bad. but Ebsen had one condition: they'd have to rewrite Jed. The original version was a wide-eyed country bumpkin, just another hayseed joke. Ebsen refused. He wanted Jed to be calm, moral, and quietly wise.
Maybe it's for the best that you know about that poor woman next door, Ellie. How you can pitch in and help us get her cured.
Yep. I'll need you to help find the makings from a sobering up mash.
The kind of patriarch who'd keep his family grounded no matter how crazy Beverly Hills got. Without that change, the Beverly Hillbillies would have been 9 seasons of laughing at hillbillies. With it, the show had a soul. Jed became the heart of the series, a character whose quiet dignity balanced the wild slapstick around him. And when the Clampetts picked up in 1971, Ebsen wasn't done yet. He went on to play the folksy detective Barnaby Jones for 8 more seasons.
I need some answers, Mr. Jones. Will you take the case?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to. I'm too old to believe in ghosts.
The man who almost quit acting wound up with 2 iconic TV roles spanning 17 seasons. Turns out retirement can wait when you accidentally become a legend twice. Number 7, 55 episodes slipped into the public domain. Now, here's something Jed Clampett probably never imagined when he struck oil: that part of his fortune would one day belong to nobody. Because of a clerical mistake, 55 early episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies slipped into the public domain. Someone at Filmways, the show's original distributor, simply forgot to renew the copyrights in the 1970s. That blunder meant anyone could legally copy, sell, or broadcast those episodes for free as long as they removed the copyrighted theme song, The Ballad of Jed Clampett. That's why you'll find bargain bin DVD sets or old VHS compilations labeled Classic Hillbillies episodes.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed.
The picture's fine, but the theme song's mysteriously replaced with something that sounds like it was played on a kazoo. The accidental giveaway actually kept the show everywhere. Local stations, budget streaming services, and late-night cable all feasted on free Clampett content. CBS lost control, but America gained unlimited hillbilly access. So, if you've ever wondered why your favorite hillbillies sometimes roll into Beverly Hills without that banjo intro, blame a forgotten form, a missed deadline, and the most expensive clerical error in sitcom history.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there.
Jed struck oil. Filmways struck out. Now, quick question. Who was your favorite Clampett? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hype this video. It keeps the lights on and makes sure you never miss more weird TV facts. Now, back to the countdown with number 6. The concept was originally about time travel. Believe it or not, the Beverly Hillbillies almost started with a time machine. When creator Paul Henning first pitched the show, his idea centered on a pioneer family from the 1860s who suddenly found themselves in modern New York City. CBS loved the fish out of water concept, but hated everything else.
That's bad. Out driving in broad daylight ain't no way to get engaged.
What are you talking about? I proposed to your daughter out driving.
In a horse and buggy, that's a heap different.
Filming in New York? Too expensive. Time travel is too complicated, and pioneers in bonnets? That's too niche. So, Henning went back to the drawing board. He kept the culture clash, but ditched the time machine. The setting jumped from the 1860s to the 1960s, and the family became poor Ozark mountaineers who struck oil, loaded up the truck, and moved to Beverly Hills. No flux capacitor required.
Jethro, what does that sign say?
It says Beverly Hills.
You share that, Granny? With Baer.
That rewrite turned a gimmick into gold. Instead of a contrived time travel plot, audiences got a surprisingly smart comedy about wealth and class. The Clampetts didn't need to be from another century to feel out of place in Beverly Hills, they just needed to be themselves. Number 5, the Clampetts Jalopy sold for $275,000. The Clampetts' rickety jalopy wasn't just a rolling punchline, it became genuine TV treasure. The on-screen vehicle was a customized 1921 Oldsmobile Model 46 Roadster, modified by famed Hollywood car builder George Baer to look like it had been cobbled together from barn scraps.
The Clampetts gardener shouldn't leave his car parked in the front driveway that way.
Oh, you're absolutely right, dear, yes.
Granny's rocking chair was bolted to the flatbed. Household goods were roped to every surface, and the whole contraption looked like it might fall apart after 3 miles on a paved road. The original hillbilly truck was donated by series creator Paul Henning and his wife Ruth to the Ralph Foster Museum in Point Lookout, Missouri on May 6, 1976. Henning, who grew up in the Ozarks, presented the truck as a bicentennial gift to the region that inspired the show. The truck has remained one of the museum's most beloved attractions ever since. Of course, multiple versions were built for filming. You can't just shoot 9 seasons with only one car and expect it to survive. One of those screen-used Jalopys resurfaced decades later and became a collector's prize. In 2015, one of the backup Clampett trucks rolled across the block at Barrett-Jackson in Scottsdale, Arizona. Classic car fans and TV memorabilia collectors went wild in a bidding war that would have made Mr. Drysdale beam with capitalist pride. When the hammer finally fell, the final price was $275,000. That's serious money for a truck that looked like it needed divine intervention to start. For the same amount, you could drive off in a brand new sports car, or you could own a rolling icon that hauled America's favorite hillbillies straight to Beverly Hills. The Clampetts loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly. Decades later, their ride moved straight into collector's history, proving that sometimes junk is worth more than gold if it comes with the right story. Jed would probably find that pretty ironic. Number 4, Max Baer Jr. played his own twin sister. Remember when Jethro suddenly had a twin sister named Irene who looked mightily familiar?
Oh, this here's my daughter, Jethro.
Well, that's because they were both played by Max Baer Jr. Yeah, that one was hard to miss. It's not every day you see a 6'4" actor in a blonde wig playing his own bashful twin sister. Baer pulled double duty in 11 episodes during the show's first season, and audiences loved every second of it. But here's the part most people don't know. The high, lifting voice of Jethro wasn't his.
Ahead of you, or he'll win the race, and that'll never do.
It was dubbed by Linda K. Henning, daughter of series creator Paul Henning, and later one of the stars of Petticoat Junction.
Let's wash her out when we get to the hotel.
Eventually, Baer got tired of the double act, and Paul Henning agreed it was time to move on. Jethro was quietly written out after season 1, but she left her mark, a one-of-a-kind sitcom experiment that only the Beverly Hillbillies could pull off with a straight face. Number 3, Nancy Kulp versus Buddy Ebsen's political war. On screen, Jed Clampett and Miss Hathaway got along just fine. Off screen, Buddy Ebsen and Nancy Kulp, not so much. Word around the set was that they butted heads from the start. Ebsen was old-school Hollywood, a conservative song and dance man who liked things his way. Kulp was college-educated, sharp-tongued, and not afraid to challenge him. The relationship remained professional, but friendly banter sometimes carried an edge.
Let's you and me go and leave these two lovebirds alone.
No, wait, please, let me take you all to Palm Springs.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you take Jethro and Elly May, and me and Granny will stay here.
Then came 1984, and things went from simmer to a full-on boil. Kulp, a lifelong Democrat, decided to run for Congress in Pennsylvania, and Ebsen, he publicly backed her Republican opponent, even recording a radio ad calling her too liberal. Nothing like hearing your old co-star trash you on AM radio. Kulp clapped back in interviews, saying Ebsen was nothing like his kindly Jed Clampett persona and should have minded his own business. The situation was wild, and the tabloids loved it. Kulp lost the election, and what little was left of her relationship with Ebsen was done. For years afterward, fans asked Ebsen about the situation at conventions, and he either dodged or doubled down. Now, some folks close to the show claim Ebsen and Kulp might have patched things up before Kulp's death in 1991, but no one really knows. If they did, it was strictly off the record. Either way, it's one of those behind-the-scenes stories that proves TV's nicest families could still throw a little shade when the cameras stopped rolling. Number 2, the theme song hit number 1 and made bluegrass mainstream.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed.
Few sitcom themes ever cracked the charts. The Beverly Hillbillies didn't just crack them, it banjo-picked its way straight to number 1.
One day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crew.
The Ballad of Jed Clampett was written by the show's creator Paul Henning, not pulled from some old folk archive like a lot of people assume. He needed a catchy way to tell Jed's whole backstory in under a minute. Poor mountaineer, struck oil, moved to Beverly Hills, and somehow turned it into one of TV's most iconic songs.
Oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea.
Henning brought in bluegrass legends Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, who were initially nervous about the word hillbillies. Once they realized the show was a satire, not an insult, they signed on and made history.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there.
The vocals came from Jerry Scoggins, while Flatt and Scruggs handled the picking. When the commercial single dropped in late 1962, it shot to number 1 on the Billboard Country chart and even reached number 44 on the Hot 100. It was the first bluegrass single ever to hit number 1, a genuine cultural milestone disguised as a TV theme song.
California is the place you ought to be, so they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly.
Suddenly, America couldn't get enough banjo. Radios were blasting bluegrass. Record sales spiked and Flatt and Scruggs went from regional favorites to household names. They even showed up on the show several times as family friends.
Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. The Beverly Hillbillies.
Before the Beverly Hillbillies, a lot of people thought banjos meant hillbilly noise. After this, they meant primetime gold. The song single-handedly brought bluegrass into mainstream pop culture, and for a while there, picking a banjo on network TV was almost as cool as strumming a Fender. And even today, more than 60 years later, that twangy opening still might be the most recognizable banjo riff in television history. Number 1, CBS canceled it during the infamous Rural Purge. You'd think that a show that hit number 1 in its first season would be safe for a long time, but that's not even close. In 1971, the Beverly Hillbillies was canceled by CBS. Not primarily because it was failing in ratings, but because it no longer fit the demographic profile the network wanted. Welcome to the infamous Rural Purge, one of the most brutal programming massacres in television history.
Yes. You're making a mistake.
Howdy there, Miss Jane. Elly May, you didn't spend no time at all at school.
Network brass, led by Fred Silverman, decided rural-themed comedies attracted older, less desirable audiences for advertisers. Though the show still drew solid viewership and retained a loyal audience, the network believed its appeal skewed too old, too rural, and not ideal for advertiser targets. So, the Beverly Hillbillies got dumped alongside Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, and Mayberry RFD. Pat Buttram, who played Mr. Haney on Green Acres, summed it up perfectly. It was the year CBS canceled everything with a tree in it.
The widow is liable to be right stove up when she gets here, walking all the way.
Don't worry, kid. One slug of my rheumatism medicine and she'll be as good as new.
The decision marked the end of an era. Out went the Clampetts, the Douglases, and the Bradleys. In came All in the Family, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and later, MASH. Shows that reflected changing American culture and attracted the demographics advertisers craved. CBS's gamble paid off. The network dominated the 70s with its new slate of relevant, edgy programming. But for millions of fans, losing the Clampetts felt like a gut punch. The oil well didn't run dry. The network just decided it was time to drill somewhere else. And there you have it, 15 weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies. Which one hit you the most? Which ones did we miss? Let us know in the comments section below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hype the video for more nostalgic deep dives. Until next time, this is Remember When.